Welcome back to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. Last time we ended up doing thing. Oh, I remember now. So I remember what my thumbnail was. So we ended up upgrading to where did it go? We upgraded electricity stuff. Oh, the ZPM batteries. No, that doesn't sound right. Is it? That might have been it. All I know is I ran out of iridium, so I had to go mine some more. I made literally one more battery, one more capacitor. Puts out of more iridium. So I had to go do that on top of the fact that now that leads into another issue we got to solve. And part of it is that I haven't been centrifuging as much of the stuff to get mercury. So I ended up running out of mercury. But at the same time, I can't have that much stored because I still have the Super Tank 2s as my storage method for these things. So we're actually going to upgrade that today first. I do think there was one other thing I wanted to try out, and that was seeing about getting HPCA Advanced Components, because while these produce 4 times the computation, they require double the cooling of the regular components. So by doing this, you can end up actually doubling the amount of computation you can have in one of these units. And we're gonna need to have that upgraded pretty soon. But by taking out 2 of these, considering each one of these only provides 4, yeah. So if we take out 2 of these, we take out 8, but then replace it with a single one of these HPCA advanced components, and we go up by 8. So we go from 16 to a good 24. And by doing 2 of those, so if we took out all of the HPCA components we have and replaced them with blank components, we would end up with 32. So we would double our capacity, which is kind of something we need if we're going to go into some components for some of the machines we have to progress. So let's go ahead and look at getting 2 different recipes set up so we can get those going. So first we're going to need our ZPM field generators, our UV circuits, which we have set up. Did I already get those? I think I did. Let us add that in. And it looks like we need an HPCA component for those anyway, so probably go grab one of those out. I did move our ZPM assembler in here because we do need it to be in the clean room to do this. But let's go check. Did I actually research that other circuit? Because they have to be done in here. It does not look like I have. So let's go ahead and get ourselves the things for that. I'm really confused because I thought I did. Let's look at this. We got ourselves a data orb. Yeah, apparently not. Then we need our crystal circuits. We need a singular one of those to be able to dump in there. Hopefully we can get that in there pretty quickly. And since we are going to have to wait for that to go through, we will let that finish up while we set up some of the other things we need to upgrade our tanks. As one of the things I noticed, we're now getting into quantum tanks. I did not... What is this one? This one's UV level. I didn't want to do that one because we don't have UV level stuff yet. Though it would be nice to be able to contain the... what is that? 500 million? be a nice, decent amount to be able to contain, but we do not have UV capabilities yet, so we're gonna have to go with the quarter billion tank storage, which requires these dense plates, which I do not have something set up in our metal press to be able to handle that. So we are actually going to have to add an additional hatch. I can speak proper English, that'd be great. To this machine over here. And wonderfully enough, you can actually, and I'm going to actually have to do this really quick. Switch this out since we have issues if we don't. Still have any of the red cable left? No, wow. Let's go ahead and put 2 there. Grab out our red spray paint and spray that red. Where did it go? First, let's put our dense plates away. Or double plates, not dense. But we're going to go ahead and add ourselves another hatch over here. And yes, it can accept a hatch there at the end, which is something I was kind of a little shocked to see, as most of the other machines do not let you place one at the corner piece. We can place down our pattern provider, but I have forgotten to grab ourselves a pattern, and I really should add that to our wireless crafting terminal and make the universal terminal so I don't have to keep coming back here all the time. Just been too lazy to try and do that though. Where? Oh, quantum tank. We can add that to the list. And it looks like we can get pretty much everything. I did do the research to get this as a capability of being made. But we are going to need to add 2 more recipes, it looks like. We need osmiridium rotors. And then we also need our hermetic casings, which requires that, which in turn also needs one of these. Nobium titanium pipes. And then the final touch, and why we had to add that piece over there, 9 of these Naquata alloy ingots, making a dense plate. So we can go ahead and add both this one and these 2 to the... Wait, no. They both actually... Yeah, they are. Okay, so we can add both of those right there, because they're just simple crafting recipes. Then we can go over and start popping things into their respective slots. Every time I enter here, I get turned around. Here we go. That there. And then let's go over to our presses. So the first thing, we need to add our number 9 to this one. Otherwise, it will not work. And we need to add our pipes and rotors. Is it huge? It's not a huge pipe. It's a large pipe. Rotors is right there. And normal plate. Tiny. Yes, they're over here. We got our mold. Right there. Large pipe. There we go. So now with that, we actually should be able to queue up a singular one of those. Tank. And see. Oh, we almost forgot that one. Is it normal? Where'd it go? This one? This one. It is the normal polybenzimidazole type. And that will be the last of that stuff that's needed. And it was, I think it was over here. Normal, right there. And now we should be able to queue one up and actually let that go. So that is going to be a fantastic upgrade, because that is what way more than a... So 10x would be 80. So just about a 40x containment size, which means we can actually put a lot of this stuff on everything. We can upgrade all of the tank storages over here as we slowly get through all of them. And the only problem that I see with that is, again, I look at osmiridium. I'm pretty sure that requires iridium. And so that's another source drain on iridium to make these. And considering we don't have very much iridium, we got 53. So that's going to first upgrade our mercury tank, so we can just spam as much mercury through as possible so these can keep going. As we actually ended up having a backup here because of that. It looks like my tank is done over there with the processing of that. So that has all worked out. We did need to check up on our... There we go. We got ourselves the... Didn't I already put this in here? I did put that in there. Just needed the data orb for it. So now we should also be able to queue up our new HPCA. Oh, I wanted to grab out the two that we have over there so that we don't have to make more of these components. So there's the 1 and the 2. Just because if we end up having to craft up more of those, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of materials that don't really have... Oh no, do we have the ZPM field generator? Or is that something else I'm going to have to... We don't. Well, let's grab those components back out, plop them back in, and see if we can research that. FIEL. Field generator. Yep, nope, we don't have those. So we need another one of those and a data orb again. And, I will be back once, I got that stuff ready. Okay, while we're waiting on that, it actually wasn't very long. Literally paused it for 2 seconds, and the quantum tank finished. So let's go ahead and see about switching that. So we got our mercury over here. I wanted to check at what's going on with that. So it looks like it's got plenty there. So I wanted to take the mercury out, lock this into place, and then pick it up, and put our quantum tank in. If I could get it in, that'd be helpful. There. Punch it around front. Lock it on in, and empty it. And now we have a spare tank for other things we might need. But that will take a very long time to fill. Now the only other thing, and I don't know if we're still using it, is that did drop this ender fluid link. So I am concerned that I do need to hook this back up to our mercury output. Which, quite frankly, I don't remember which one it was. Looks like it's right there. And then we need our import. There we go. So that solves that problem to an extent. And now we can actually go button mash our mercury to get it into that chest to let it keep processing. And it is going to take some time to get through all of that with it using this centrifuge, as I do not have a large version of the centrifuges up. So charging that up that way is not going to happen right now. But that settles that one issue, and now we can actually store a decent amount, so when I'm in between mining sessions, I don't end up running out the next time that I go do a mining session. Especially now that I have to manually insert stuff, as somebody's direction of doing so was probably a little bit better. Not manually, but setting up an automatic system to export stuff into an electrolyzer or a centrifuge, which is a good idea. Because there's some other components. There's so many components that you need from those dusts that you end up realizing later on that it's like, yeah, it's a much better idea to just separate them all out, because you're going to have way more things than you're going to need that you're not going to realize until all of a sudden, hey, I need that thing. And I've already electrolyzed all of it, and it's gone. Or centrifuged it, whichever one it is. So, yeah. So one other thing I've done is we've got ourselves an active transformer down here, because as soon as we get those new HPCAs in there, the high computation components, we're going to need a lot more power to come through here. I don't know if we really need more power input through this, but just so we don't have to worry about it, I'm going to upgrade that as well. Actually, I do think you do need it. What was I wanting to research for the UV components? Yeah, so it does actually require ZPM computation in, oh no, that's just how many computation points. Except for the fact that it does say you need ZPM tier energy. Maybe? Yeah. Yeah, it does require ZPM energy. Okay. Okay. But now with this field thing, the field generator, but ZPM version, we should be able to go ahead and say, let's take those components out this time and actually upgrade this. Although, something tells me I'm forgetting something else. HC. Yay. HPCA? HPCA. There we go. Where'd they go? Right here? I am forgetting something. Oh, we actually need the recipes for those. That's what it is. So we need our HSE. So we need our HSE frames, which require that, and a number 4. And then we need our rods. I did not realize we had not crafted up those recipes. And then the last thing we need is a recipe for the field generators, which requires the Naquata alloy frames. Oh no, and we're going to have to do emitters too, so I just took those components out once again for no reason. So there's that. Naquata alloy frames, yep, okay. And I think that was the only other one we got to do. Which then also requires the okay, let's get ourselves an LUV emitter. To research that. I mean, if we don't need to, we'll be fine, but just in case. Let's go check that first. I always think that I can get under it, but I can't. Yeah, nope, no emitter. So that is that. We are going to have to get both the emitter and the field generator in there, and then we just need to get our parts there. Let's go ahead and slap this back in where it's supposed to be. There's our data orb. We just gotta wait on our emitter. While that is waiting, let's go input. Our bender is... Let's go find the number 4 first, right here. For those two, and then our extruder. Is it this one? Extrusion, yep. Okay, right there. Oh boy. So now the other question is, if we do our, what is it called? HPCA again. We have ourselves an empty component to replace in there. And is the active cooler? That's not what I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at, does it require, it requires the computer casing. I was kind of hoping it would use the heatsink. But I think we're just going to have to scrap the heat sinks we got there and get back some of our iridium. So if we do it that way, we get our ingots back. Is it literally the same with just whether or not you get the ingots back? Yeah. So let's go ahead and take those out and go scrap them in our nice big arc smelter we got here. Output, input. Hello? Oh, I don't have enough outputs, do I? You know, I should remember that. Output into the bus. I think that's big enough. Yeah. Barely. Did we get that emitter yet? We did. Just did not go stick it in our research bay. I will say the bright side to all this is we're going to be able to get back quite a bit of our components by doing this. Where did it go? Right there. Output. Let's go ahead and break that one off. And do that. And then we can put those in there. Get our 64 aluminum, but 16 iridium back, which that stuff is expensive, so that's a really nice bring back here. And it's kind of crazy. It feels like it doesn't actually take that long to do this. It's something I expected to take longer, but because we upgraded, I guess that's what I wanted to look at right there. It only requires 8 CWU, Computation Work Units. I think that's what that stands for. But, yeah, because it's doing it at twice the rate. It actually takes a lot less time than you expect. Oh, and that one was 4 times the rate. No wonder that one was easy. And just imagine, because I'm doing it in this order, all of the other stuff that I research is going to be even easier, because we're going to have 32 or 16. I mean, I could take out all 4, and we got 2 and 2, so we could do 2 units straight up. I would do more active cooling units, but we'd have an issue of... Oh, take that out now. Now I should be able to take those out. One, two. Right there. And then we've got our HPCA once again. Finally. Not finally. Oh no. We're missing trinium? That's not good, because that takes a second. On top of the... Oh, wait. Do I not have enough? That's what the issue is. Okay, I think we're gonna have to make some sulfuric acid. Let's turn that back on. Now let it start flowing, because we can turn this on for a second now that we have so much more power that it doesn't evaporate in a matter of seconds. So that will help produce our sulfuric acid. I did not even think about that. That we're not getting ourselves the trinium we need out of this stuff. Rich Quada. Is this our trinium one? Zinc, and this is supposed to get our trinium sulfide, yes. But, wait, isn't that supposed to come out of there? So, like... it's one of these two that has it. Right? Or is that of this process? No. Indium. Trinium. Okay. So it's this one. That means that it shouldn't take too long for us to get what we need. For a little bit more of that. But the other one, what was the other one? It was the uranium rhodium diaquatine wire. So let's go find that. I realize I went to an entirely wrong area for absolutely no reason. Okay. That wire. Where did it go? Is it? It's not in there. Right there. Boom. All right. And then once that gets into its machine, we can actually start it for real this time. This is definitely what it looks like every single time that I do stuff off camera. Is that I am quite literally running back and forth going, oh, I made that. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I made that. No, I didn't. But I'm going to give it a couple of minutes so that the Naquata here can process and get us a few more pieces of trinium. Alright, we are back, and it is just enough to craft. So it looks like we'll only be able to craft the one of these units right now, but that means now that I've shown the crafting of it, I can go ahead and build the next one I need off camera. But for now, we're going to have to replace one of our blank components in there. So as that's done crafting, we actually need ourselves another couple things. I realized that it would be really nice to upgrade our parallel hatch for our thermal centrifuge, as it is once again the slowest thing that bottlenecks all of my stuff over here. So when that finishes up, we'll be able to research that. We need our data, ourselves another data module. And And we're going to need to make ourselves a LUV sensor. LUV sensor, yep. Which I'd love to make one of those, but I have a feeling it's going to clog up our thing. And yeah, it will, because we need some of our NOR memory stuff, which is currently making some of that right now. So we will let that run, and I will be back once that large component goes through, because it is going to take some time indeed. And even just go show how much time it's probably going to take. On the bright side, a lot of this stuff is getting done pretty quickly, because our annealed copper goes through and gets crafted, and as well it sends it all over, it just goes and powers through it all. And we could probably, I think we haven't upgraded our parallel hatch for the benders. A lot of this other stuff, benders, the wire makers. Yeah, we could definitely upgrade that and make it a little bit faster for all of those components. The hard part about those, and why I never feel like doing those upgrades, is that they're always, almost always, bottlenecked by making the actual alloys and metals, which there is no parallel hatch for the alloy maker. So unless we switch over to a parallel hatch mixer on top of the rotary hearth, once we actually have the capability of making that, there's no, it just really doesn't feel like there's a reason to do that besides the annealed copper or like steel plates, which we don't use very often anymore. We don't use these smaller, easily crafted ingots. We tend to use these alloys that take forever to craft up in those other buildings. And wow, it actually didn't take too long for a lot of that stuff. I think our longest thing is going to be these crystal processor mainframes. The only thing I have a worry about with that is our RAM chips overstacking in a spot. So I guess we'll have to see how fast those craft. How fast do they craft? 40 seconds? Yeah, that's going to definitely overstack. Where is assembler? There's the data orb. But those are going to come in here. We're going to get those, and it's going to definitely overstack. Ooh. Once it actually gets over here. Shouldn't be too far away. Making crystal assemblies. More crystal assemblies. More crystal assemblies. What are we making? When are you gonna make the next tier? I thought for sure it'd be making the next tier by now. There we go. Yeah, that's gonna double stack because those don't... We're gonna get our second one there. Once it's ready. Yeah, there's our second one. And then we will see this one start up. Right? Yeah, so it started. So there's our first batch started. There's nothing in there. That was one there. We got one more, and then it should stack in here. Did this finish already? Oh, it finished already. Wait. Oh, that's because it's UV, so it's only going to take 10 seconds. Okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I really don't like that issue of overstocking that it does. But because it is UV power, that's crazy. I didn't realize that they overclock, perfect overclock. Oh no, it is LUV to make those. Okay. So yeah, we only have to take 10 seconds on those. That is good. Not perfect overclock, but... Oh, wait, what? Oh, this is the emitter. Okay. That means we're actually almost done already with that. That doesn't feel like a very long time to have to wait for it to upgrade one of those. And that means we could probably queue up a sensor array at this point, too. Not quite. It sounds like we're a little bit further than I expected. Because we still got to craft up another one of those... Wait. Quantum processors. For what? Restocking? There is our last one of those. And then we should see our assembler queue up. Oh, this needs to be switched to a 1. What are we waiting for? So we're waiting for something. But what? I have no idea. Oh, a quantum star. Those things. Yeah, I really need to fix that too. 96 seconds to craft a quantum star. At the same time, it's probably the only reason that my assembler is not jamming is because that takes 96 seconds to craft. So once that's done, we can actually go upgrade our component here. Put our data orb in there. Nice. And get our LUV sensor made, which again will take another 96 seconds. So now we can add that into our computational array, and we can see it now produces 24, which is way more than we are currently producing. Or that we did before. Like, that, it drastically increases. It's kind of crazy when you end up actually doing the math on some of this stuff, on how much it actually helps out to do it that way instead of the other way. It's not quite the same thing as like the compound interest if you do math out for loans and stuff, but it is pretty close, and it is cool what you can do when you figure out compound interest and how it all works, and that you can use your money in such a way to substantially gain more out of it's not just loans. It's also like if you're going to put it in a savings account or if you're going to put it in the stock market and things. Now, the biggest thing with the stock market is always your money could be lost. So there's no guarantee on some of that stuff, especially with what's been going on over the last few days. But nonetheless, it's pretty cool what you can do when you take math and you figure out the numbers and how much quicker some of these things go because of that. Anyways, we need to wait for this LUV sensor, and I'm not going to make you wait for a whole 3 minutes just for those quantum processors to do, because I think I need 2 of them, but be right back. As I hit the pause button, you might have seen it pop up. I honestly think it only needed 1 as the biggest thing. And now we can dump that in there. That's going to take us pretty much no time at all now, which is awesome. Wow, look at that go. I think the biggest problem it has is I don't have enough power to be running that thing as fast. Yeah, it's literally just flashing it away, so that is why I wanted to be able to put our ZPM hatches in, and I should have done that beforehand, so we could actually see it do its thing properly, but now it's jumping because it's that But that's even faster than the other one. That's what's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And it's already done. And now we have every single one of the ZPM components craftable. Let's get the field gen and that out so we can see them all together. And now it just comes up to, like, do we have the materials to craft ourselves these new parallel hatches? Apparently, we are missing some of the recipe. So let's go ahead and check that. We need this one, which it looks like we aren't going to be able to craft it up now, but I can craft them up off camera. But yeah, that's just not going to work, considering that we do not have enough trinium. Because even with me letting it continue to run while we were here, we just do not have enough for that. Where is... I could find a place to get back into the assembler. I think our least used one is here. And then we need the sensor array right over here. But we can just double check that. Parallel. Yeah. That's a lot. Oh boy. That is a lot more than I thought. But yeah, we'll have to wait on those. But that would be a definite thing to sort out our processing on this stuff, as we are entirely backed up strictly by that being too slow now. So, and what, we're doing 16 every 10 seconds, but we're also doing 16 here and 16 there, basically all the way through the process, besides these smaller ones down here. So, anyways, we got ourselves a brand new HPCA component, which we can now double up and make that a 32, or even triple it up to make it a 48, which is actually, I think, the max that we can do for some of the components we have to research in this next tier. And there is stuff even beyond that we're going to have to make that active. Not active, what is it called? The bridge? Network switch. We'll have to make a network switch to do some of the researching stuff for data module components, as without that, there is no other way around it. We will have to get some other components. I should grab one of those out so I can actually get both of those done. But getting that down that tree will then allow us to also start with our fusion reactor pretty soon to get the Mark II version, allowing us Americum and a couple other things, as well as a better fuel source for our plasma generators. It's always about upgrading different systems, different places, different throughputs to make things either faster, more efficient, or able to craft new items. And that's just the nature of Gregtech. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and a comment in the comment section. Again, I do read each one of those comments. I am still trying to get better at responding to them, because like I've said before, I don't really respond well when I don't know if there's anything I could really add or say to the conversation being held in place. But thank you very much for watching, and you all have a great day. Bye!